We always hear about the empty nest syndrome, parents who brought up their children and what they go through when the kids leave. What happens midlife when you don't have kids?
Did you push record?
Thank you so much for tuning in again to our second act with Paige and Silka for
Your second act of life. Hi, Silka.
Hello, Paige. We are getting so good at this.
We are. And soon, Silka, I will be in your studio in a couple more weeks.
I know, we can't wait. We're already getting 2 sets ready to test, so we're really excited about that. Today, we are talking about another thing that you and I have in common. And that is that both of us are in our 50s and childless. And while we were talking about that, you said that this is something that you really want to talk about because it does affect a lot of people at our age. Tell us why this is so important to you.
It's important to me because we always hear about the empty nest syndrome, parents who brought up their children and what they go through when the kids leave. But the population that never gets discussed, and I've experienced, you've experienced, so many of my clients have experienced that no one chats about, is that what happens midlife when you don't have kids? Whether kids were a choice that you made or whether you tried to have kids and you couldn't, what goes on with that whole scenario? And I really want to get feedback from our listeners to find out, after we're done talking, what they've gone through, what life is like for them, what their concerns are, what their fears are about it, what their positive points are about it.
Yeah.
Makes sense, Silka?
Absolutely. Well, and since we talked about this today, we really kind of want to banter on this, get our thoughts out, and also announce that we will actually be doing a show in studio on this topic where we want to take questions and answers. So anyway, we'll have more on that in a little bit. But back to your point, what has been your experience in working with people?
It's everything. Whether people have chosen not to have children or couldn't get pregnant and then tried to adopt and couldn't get pregnant. And I think before I even talk about my clients, I want to talk about personally, because you and I have our own stories.
Yeah.
So I'll start with me, Silka, and then I'll throw it over to you.
Absolutely.
So for me, I wanted to have kids. Physically, I couldn't have kids. And then, of course, we tried to adopt internationally, then locally. And that didn't work because my husband got very sick. So there was always something, one thing after another, of why we couldn't have children. And for me, it was devastating. Think about it, Silka. When we meet people who say, "Oh, so do you have kids?" And right away, when you say no, the conversation changes or they don't know what to say. It's like everything revolves around family, or everything revolves around kids. So nobody knows what to say after that fact if you don't have kids. So I'll stop there, although I have more to say, and kind of throw it over to you and get your thoughts on what I just said. And maybe you want to share your personal story about being childless as well.
Well, I'm on the side that's not very popular. I chose not to have children, and I have been on that receiving end too. Oh, so what? How many kids do you have, or do you have kids? And it's no, and I frankly got real tired of that. That's oh, you couldn't have children. No, one, it's none of your business. Why? I mean, I do. I just got real tired of it. Maybe because when I went through the 30s or into the early 40s, where you're still able to have children, I was in Texas in a neighborhood where everybody was having children. If you didn't have children, something was wrong with you. So I became very defensive about it. I don't know what that says about me, but I've never felt like I wasn't a whole woman for not having children, and I am somewhat resentful when that is implied, even indirectly. Does that make sense?
Yeah, let me jump in on that one. So I'm going to go back to the real big picture like I always do sometimes. This is not the only lifetime that we live.
Mm-hmm.
So bravo to you for knowing that this was not a path you wanted to choose. There should be, I like to say shoulda shit, that's a Paigeism, but I would like to see no judgment because, bravo for you for deciding that this is not what I want in this lifetime. Because how many people decide, oh my gosh, we're supposed to get married or stay together or be in a relationship and a partnership and either adopt or have kids, even when deep down you don't want to do that.
What I never understood is when you're being accused of being selfish for not having children. I don't get that. My point is that there are so many parentless children in this world that, if anything, adopting or helping children that are already here would be more unselfish than, popping out one of your own. I'm not going to be very popular saying that, maybe.
That's okay.
But that's how I feel.
Right. And that's your truth. And you have to speak your truth. Very, very true. And that's why even though both of us don't have kids, they're for different reasons. So I know for me, and you can, since you talked about the neighborhood in Texas,
Yeah.
Everywhere we've moved, we've been in neighborhoods where everybody's a family and everybody has kids. For me, I see these families with kids and I think, wow, what would that have been like? And to me, there's that yearning, there's that void, there's that, gosh, I have so much love to give and I have so much to help with. And let me throw out there, it's not just women who have thoughts on this. So I want to also hear the men as far as, are you in a relationship where your significant other did not want to have kids and you did? Or you tried to have kids and you couldn't? And what's that like coming from a male perspective?
Yeah, no, exactly. And the more we look into this and go on the internet and see some of the blogs and the conversations, this is a hot topic.
Yes.
And we do want to hear from, from both sides, from you couldn't have children like yourself, you didn't like me. I mean, I get that I probably carry more than I maybe realize because I'm defensive and I'm resentful, and there's something wrong there. I get it, and I want to open that conversation.
That's good, Silka. Can I add one more thing?
Sure.
For those people out there too who try to adopt like I did,
Yes.
it is an emotional roller coaster when you're promised, oh yes, this can work, and then it doesn't. So you get pulled in with, oh my gosh, here's an opportunity to be a parent, and then it doesn't work. And then you get pulled. It is an emotional roller coaster. So we also want to hear from those who tried to adopt, whether it was international, state, or both, and what that was like as well. Because you know what? People have resentment towards the system. How many kids out there need homes, but what are we doing? We're buying children. We're buying children who need support, who need help.
Yeah. No, it is. And I'm looking forward to it, Paige. We're almost coming to an end of this segment. What
Already?
Yeah,
Already?
I know. What
Say on this topic.
maybe we'll just go longer. What do we want to leave our audience with after this segment? I know the video description below and on our Facebook page, we are going to be looking for people to participate on our upcoming studio show. So leave your comments, give us your contact information. If you want to contact us privately, you can do so. Our email is info@secondact.tv. I'll put that in the video description below. Otherwise, Paige, what can you close us out with here on the kind of input and comments we're looking for?
Anybody who's chose not to have children, what's your life like now? Any regrets? Glad that you did it? Mixed feelings? If you couldn't have kids, if you tried to adopt and that system didn't work, same thing. What are the positives? What are the challenges? What are the emotions that you're going through, both women and men? And another concept to think about too is how many times I hear, who's going to take care of me when I get older? I don't have kids. And what I say to them is, who's to say if you did have kids that they would take care of you and it's their responsibility? So that opens up a whole combination of life with a family, life not with a family, when you get sick, when you're on your deathbed. So let's have some conversations about it and get in touch with Silka and I.
And you know what I really like about this subject too, and then we will close out, is that not only is this a conversation amongst our peer group, the 50 plus, it's really something for the younger people to listen to, because there's a lot of people now making that decisions. I think like right now, the millennials are the lowest childbirth rate, whatever, ever for any generation. We'll see how that translates here in the years down the road. And I'm hoping that these decisions are going to be less controversial for the millennials, people coming up. For us, our generation, we were definitely judged. If you were a woman who chose not to have children, there was something wrong with you, and that still runs today, at least in my opinion. So show
And
me.
and if you were a woman in our generation who couldn't have kids or couldn't adopt, you also get another kind of response, like, oh, I'm so sorry, and what a shame. And so there's responses that we get from all types of choices that we make or we don't make, and none of them are right or wrong. It's whatever your path is in this lifetime.
And on that note, Paige, you always just frame everything up perfectly. We'll close out this segment. We look forward to your comments, your questions, your input, and we'll see you on the next episode of Our Second Act with Paige and Silka.
For your second act of life.
Paige, see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
So glad you were able to join us today. We would really like to get your opinion on this topic, so please leave your comments below or interact on our Facebook page. You can also visit our website, secondact.tv, and as always, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. There's the button. Thank you.